Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I have a very interesting walk around for you. Now, it's not this, but this plays into it. This is a McCormick-Deering T20, all-right, wheel tractor. Rather common item for its day, but over here is the crawler version of it. And we'll try and do a good enough walk around with the sun coming in like it is. It's getting awfully low in the sky. This is the T20. So this is the tracked version of the 1020 wheel tractor over there. And the reason why I wanted to do a walk around of it, there's just so many really interesting details on it. First, if we can block that glare, the McCormick-Deering tag on the top, just the weathering, the patina on it, this expanded mesh radiator guard. Looks like a steel screen back behind. I think that screen has been added. I'm pretty sure this guard is original though. Hand crank in the front. Here's an interesting detail for this part of the country. These check breakers in front of the tracks, all right? There's one on the other side as well. And they did not do much for like check row irrigation around this area, but if they did have check rows dug between the crop rows, it would leave small berms on either side. So if you're going to cross those berms with a crawler, you would have to ride up one side and then over center and back down the other. So they invented these check breakers where they would unpin right here, hinge down, you would repin them, and these were like miniature little dozer blades that folded down flat ahead of the tracks and took those check berms out so that you could cross those gullies without having to ride up and over material. So that's a very, very rare option to see in this part of the world. The louvered side panels are in place. The old faded paint runs, I love it. I just love it. Spring-loaded catches intact. This is a very interesting operator's platform. I like how it's fully enclosed at the front because we've got all of this tin work that flares out right here, joins in with the fender, and it completely houses in the foot pedal area. We've got the diagonal bars that go across. These must be brake pedals on this side. That would have to be clutch pedal over here. Same diagonal bars. This would be the throttle. Big exaggerated gear rack mechanism in there. Ratchet pawl. I believe we would have gasoline starting tank and then main tank. I may have those mixed up, but it looks like we've got a little on-off valve, possibly a splitter valve in there. Again, with the faded paint runs on the seat box. Here's an interesting, very interesting thing. This has to be a toolbox under here. We've got like these little slide deadbolt latches. I'm not going to open it up. It's not my tractor, but interesting little back door here. This is a hallmark design of the international crawlers. They had these round covers with the what looks like air cooling slats. I doubt that they are. I think they're just stiffeners. But swing plate, drawbar does not look horrible. Rather vintage looking pin in there. You can tell it's getting wore rather thin in the center where it's done a lot of just, you know, minute swinging side to side. That was the normal range of operation for it. I love how these fenders just kind of start to kick down at the back, kind of like the Caterpillar ones did of the day. Steering levers here and here, and we've got some very large lettering down here on top of the transmission. We got a R, L, I, and H. So as near as I can figure, that would be reverse, L would be low, I would be possibly intermediate, H would be high. And I don't know what this lever is for. It does not have a PTO, but we have some very large lettering here off with an arrow. So that would be the off position, whatever it is. It looks like this linkage here would possibly be, maybe that is a brake pedal. I'm thinking, is it clutch and then a brake on each side, or is it the brakes on one side and just the clutch on the other? I don't know. But then steering linkage goes back here, enters for the steering clutch release mechanisms further back, IH water temp gauge, as well as oil pressure. We have a series of knobs here. We've got this one, I don't really know what it's for. This one, I don't really know what it's for. We've got the same tin work that comes out here, completely closes in the foot plate area, so well housed. Very interesting. It looks like period correct, but possibly repro exhaust elbow right there. and a very large air cleaner on the side with almost a duckbill style pre-cleaner. Yep, all the corrugated mesh screen up in there, oil bath style. Looking at the undercarriage, it looks like we've got some wear. Let's come over here a bit more out of the glare. These have to be the thinnest rails I've ever seen in my life. There's hardly anything left here at all. But similar to the Caterpillar two-piece split front, I shouldn't say two-piece, I should say split front idler, these had quite wide gaps in between the two main rims. The pins and bushings have not been turned, but you can feel quite a lot of wear on those bushings down there. Typical IH track tensioning setup where you got the possibly a recoil spring under here, and here's like a guide rod for the wishbone. That's the adjustment nut, and then it pushes on this pivot here at the top, so that pivot actually carries the idler forward. And interesting how they did their roller construction. Here's the top carrier roller, no flanges. It's just a round slug, so the track just rolls across it wherever it happens to lay. And they did the same thing, or a similar thing, with the bottom rollers. There's a little bit of a flange on the outside, but for the most part, it's a flat slug all the way across. A little bit better view of the external bushing wear right there. And we've got sprockets that are similar to like a snow relief sprocket on a Caterpillar, where the gullet comes in and you can see how it gets so narrow right there. There's those cutouts on each side. That helps snow or even dirt, rocks, any kind of abrasive material to self-clean out of the sprockets. But I can't get over how thin those links are on the rail segments. But very nice seat cushion on it. Just have a quick look over here. Yes, this opposite side is the same way. Very, very thin. That must be the master pin right there. Looks like it's a little bit loose, but I'll cut it some slack. This thing is just so darn cool. So, McCormick-Deering T20 crawler tractor. This one is neat. Thanks for watching, everybody.